Good evening and welcome to the STEM Q&A session we're running this evening. Tonight we have computing, automotive, science and engineering. My name's Mike Nelson. I'm the head of engineering, and I think what we'll do to start with, we'll just go around and if you guys can introduce themselves. Claire, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good evening, my name's Claire Watkins. I'm the Head of Science here at West Suffolk College. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about our Science T-level, our Biomedical Science course, our Environmental Science course and our Forensic Science course, and I'll pass you over to Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Sparks and I'm a course director for Level 2 Computing and Logistics and Supply Chain Management. And we also have esports, managing and directing esports, managing and developing esports as well at Level 3. And I'll pass you to Michael Kerry.
Hi, so my name is Michael Kerry. So I'm a computer lecturer at West Suffolk College. So I'll also be answering questions for any computer studies. So we run two courses for computer studies. So there's an OCR course there with a range of units, and also I can answer any questions for our new digital support T levels at West Suffolk College, which we're starting in September.
And
Leon, sorry, Leon,
that's all right. My name is Leon Wild. I'm the head of Automotive, and I'll be answering any questions on automotive, and that's ranging from progression up to Level 3 motorsport.
Brilliant, thanks Leon. So I'm in charge of engineering. We run two courses. We run Level 3, which has 3 pathways, and we have a Level 2 as well. Right, I've already got loads of questions coming in.
Yeah, 2 for computing.
2 for computing. So should we do this one quickly, then we can get into the big one, which is T levels. Does the computing course cover coding? Is there any programming in it?
Definitely, yeah. So we have the Raspberry Pi one, but even the esports, we have some coding. And even as well, but the computing Level 3 OCR, that's the one that majority covers coding. And there's the Internet of Things, which has coding in. So majority of units, there are quite a few units that cover coding. And we do some Raspberry Pi and some Arduino work. And we're making a smart house at the moment using coding. So definitely coding in there. Brilliant,
thank you, Amy. So quite a big question. I don't know if we'll go to you, Michael, about T levels. Do you want to just run through and explain T levels? What are T levels?
So we've got a new qualification that's coming out, and it's going to be rolled out over a number of years in different departments. So we have, for an example, for the computing department, in September we're live with the digital support. Now the basis around a T level is a fundamental change in the amount of time that you will spend with an employer. So a T level is often more specialised in a given route that you would like to do as your career. So for an example, in computing, with the previous question about coding, or there may be someone that likes to do things like web design, mobile app. With a T level, it's a particular career route in a given subject. So for computing, the T level that we're rolling out will be digital support. So that would be the role within that. So that's the difference with the T level, is that it's particular on a criteria and a given path you want to go down, opposed to maybe computing as an example, where there can be lots and lots of different subjects and areas to it. I don't know if anyone else wants to join in with their part as well.
I can give you some information about T levels and their structure, because this structure is roughly the same whether you're doing a digital support T level or a science T level. T levels are a 2-year program. They're approximately 80% in college learning and 20% on the job. So almost a reverse apprenticeship. So you would spend a day a week at an employer and the other time at college. You get 2 grades. One of them is an A star to an E, and that's very much like an A level would give you. And the other is a pass, merit or distinction, very much like a BTEC would give you. It is almost a hybrid qualification between those 2 styles of learning. In the science T level, for example, there are a couple of exams, there's an employer set project, and then there is coursework as well. And the digital support one works in a fairly similar way.
Yeah.
And then you have your industry placement as well. So as Michael said, a very, very different way of learning, but a really exciting one, particularly with that links to employers.
Yeah,
brilliant.
We're trying to just sort of look as well the fact that the employer engagement part is that you can apply the knowledge that's learned from there. So the 20% in the workplace is a great addition to that.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Claire, while we're with you, someone's asked, I want to become a nurse. What course is best for me?
Okay, that's a really good question, and it does depend on the kind of nursing that you're interested in going into. My course, which is Biomedical Science, actually covers more of the non-patient facing healthcare. So these are people that work in the laboratories to support the doctors and nurses. However, there is things like mental health nursing, there's forensic nursing, there's elderly nursing, there's paediatrics. You're probably going to need some really good work experience because you need to learn how to work with people. But in terms of the science that you need, certainly our biomedical science course would give you enough of the science, and then you would need to find your work experience outside of that.
Brilliant. Thanks, Claire. So we've got a general question. Do I have to come in for an interview? No, you don't. Currently what we're doing is we are contacting you to tell you that we're going to do a phone conversation with you, and we give you a window. So it's between, for example, 3 and 5, where we call you on the phone and we do the interview that way, and then we put you on the right course for you. So thank you for that. Leon, what jobs can you do in automotive? There's millions, but go on, do your best with that.
Okay, there are many jobs that you can do in automotive. So if I just talk you through the actual courses that we run, so the progression and the level 1 are there to get you ready to work. So they're to teach you those basic skills and build on your character strengths to get you ready for work. Now the level 2 will then enhance your skills and make you more employable for jobs that within industry, such as working in parts departments, working in a workshop environment as maybe a fast fit technician or a service technician, working with in sales, so selling vehicles. So there are a number of automotive jobs that you could go for. If you then move on to our level 3 course, which is our motorsport one, it obviously unlocks the door to motorsport, so it gives you a chance to go off in that direction. But also the skills learned will aid you to then go into apprenticeships or jobs within the industry, within the automotive world. So it could be that you do the motorsport course, but then you go off and decide that you want to work in a main dealer, such as like BMW or Audi or something like that. So it kind of, the motorsport course opens the doors up to a number of different routes. And you could also then move on to a higher diploma or and eventually university. You could also move over to Mike's side and look at engineering. So the automotive courses can go towards moving on to engineering and step in that direction. So like I say, Mike's right when he says there's many different applications that you can move on to.
Brilliant, thanks, Leon. Just staying with you, we got a question. What would I be doing in the level 2 automotive course? Is there something specific that they do differently, or some of the range of topics? Okay,
so with the level 2, with that course, there are practical and theory elements. So in the practical workshop, you'll do a range of things from like removing and replacing suspension, removing and replacing parts to do with the engines, looking at how vehicles charge, and the electrical systems. So it kind of I suppose you could categorize them into chassis, engine, electrical and transmission. They're sort of the main areas that you'd be looking at. And like I say, there's practical elements. So when you're actually going to take vehicles apart and repair them and put them back together, or there'll be your sort of assignment-based work where you'll do questions and that will all go towards completing the course, and then online tests to obviously test the learning and that you've taken on the knowledge.
Brilliant, thanks, Leon. So a very good question. Can you tell me about the logistics course? I don't know who to hand that to, really. Is that you, Amy? You're muted, Amy.
Oh, it's always me that does that. Sorry. So logistics, yeah, definitely me. I'll be course director. So there's not really a better time to join the logistics industry, especially after everything that's happened with the pandemic. So logistics underpins the UK economy. So for everything that we have in everyday life comes through the supply chain. So that's food, clothes, medicine, everything you can think of comes through your supply chain. So we do study everything from business and logistics, supply chain management. We've got 3 mandatory units, which are Introduction to Supply Chain Logistics, Modes of Transportation for Supply Chain Logistics, and Geography for Supply Chain Logistics, where we look at all the ports and all the main shipping and air freight for logistics. We also look at things like sustainability, international trade laws for imports and exports, contract law, warehouse operations. We would usually like to take a trip to the Amazon warehouse, COVID permitting. We look at technology and automation in supply chain logistics. We also look at freight forwarding. We look at digital career development, communication, how to collaborate online, which is going to be increasingly important, team leadership as well, and improving performance. We will be working with lots of different companies, lots of different organisations, and we're hoping, the hope is that we will collaborate once a week with different peers in the UK and other parts of the world. And we've already got opportunities to collaborate with Amsterdam and Rotterdam. So we have got lots of career connections. The reason how this course has come about is, and there's been a gap identified in the market of, as in, we are going to have over 33% of the workforce are about to retire from logistics, and we've got no one to fill that gap. So we'll be down on the workforce. So currently 2.5 million people work in logistics. So it's a massive industry. With Brexit, everything has changed our logistics in the UK. And just for example, the COVID pandemic, online shopping increased from 19% to 25% in just 6 months. So logistics is covering all of these kinds of things. We're in association with the Careers College. It's a new program. We've got international partners. It's going to be great. So that's kind of the logistics in a very small workshop. I think if you go to the website, you can find a pre-recorded like little seminar where I went through it all in quite a bit more detail. So maybe we can pop a link for that into the chat somewhere.
Mike Nelson, you're on mute.
Thank you. So there's a question about engineering. I'll field that one. So this goes for any course program. Someone's asked about engineering specifically, but it doesn't really matter. Can you start a course at level 3, or do you have to do a level 2 first? Level 2 is GCSE equivalent. Level 3 is A-level equivalent. If you have got, or you are doing GCSEs, you are eligible to apply for a level 3 course. If you get lower than a 4 in, for example, English and maths, then you would possibly be looking at a level 2 course and then repeat your GCSE maths and English for the next year, so you get your grade up to a 4. Claire, what would I learn in the forensics course?
What would you learn?
Yes.
Awesome things is what you would learn.
I know that.
The forensics course is, to give it its proper title, is Forensic and Criminal Investigation. It is a 2-year programme, and in the first year you learn your core scientific concepts. I'm afraid there is no getting away from the science. It is very much embedded, as well as an introduction to crime scene work. We'd also have a look at forensic genetics and environmental forensics. So if you're into death and destruction, that's very much that end of things. Second year, you've got criminology, criminal psychology, archaeology, anthropology, and traffic investigations, also forensic fire investigation. So some big topics in there, but an awful lot of science. there's a fair chunk of being in the crime scene room in the white suits and all the gloves and everything. Actually, there's an awful lot of laboratory work that goes with it as well.
You've got that crime room as well, haven't you?
We do. We have a designated crime scene room that allows us to mock up more realistic crime scenes. So it's set up currently as a student-let/bedroom, full-size furniture, and gives you a more realistic experience than just seeing it all on paper. We've also done crime scenes outside in the past. We've set up traffic accidents outside in conjunction with Leon's team. Pre-COVID, we had a setup outside with a car versus motorbike, and we set all the road markings out, and they had to establish whether the driver was at fault, the rider was at fault, both were at fault, neither were at fault, what had happened, and so on. So we do try and make them as realistic as possible. Brilliant,
thanks. Quick question about what range of tools is there in the engineering? So in engineering, we have classrooms, which are generally computer rooms, but we do have a project room, which has all the tools you would need. And I don't really know where you're aiming this question, but we have everything that you would need. We've got 3D printers in there, so we could do rapid prototyping. Also, we have a fluidics lab, so where you can do hydraulics and pneumatics. And we have an electronics lab where we have all the equipment where you do the electronics. Also, we have a workshop. It's not specifically in the courses that are offered 16 to 19-year age. It's aimed at apprentices where they do machining on a lathe, a mill. We've got 2 CNC machines that do belong to like my department. Can't think of anything else, but I think there's an extensive tool thing. Before we go to that, Leon, do you just want to explain how you become a car mechanic?
Okay, yeah, I saw that a moment ago about that you want to become a mechanic. So you could, depending on your GCSE grades, if you've got a grade 1, you'd be or in English and Maths, you'd be looking at our progression course. If you've got grade 2s, you would be looking, or 2s to 3s, you'd be looking at the level 1. And then if you've got a grade 4 in English or Maths and a grade 3 in English or Maths, so you need one of each, you could then go on to level 2. So we prefer that you had both 4s in English and Maths, but we could obviously do that. The level 3 course, you need to actually do the IMI level 2 course before you can progress onto that. On that note, though, I'd also like to give you another website you could use to help you come up with an idea of what you want to do in the future. And that's the IMI have a site called AutoCity. So if you go onto AutoCity, that will give you snapshots of all the different jobs out there in the automotive industry. So there's some bits on motorsport, there's some bits on working in main dealers, there's parts departments, there's sales, reception. It's all in there, and it's quite a good site to have a look at if you know that you want to work in the automotive industry but not sure where you want to sort of fit into that. Go on to AutoCity. So just type in IMI AutoCity in Google, and that'll come up, and that'll give you an insight of what to expect. I also noticed that there's another question about, do we have motorcycles? I did see that. Shall I just pop onto that question? I should see that. So it says, do we have motorcycles for the level 3 motorsport? At this moment in time, we haven't, but in previous years we have. So it just depends. It's not in the actual curriculum for the motorsport course. We don't have to have motorcycles, but we do like to get them in there if we can. So I'm not saying that we will definitely have motorcycles, but it's something that we do sometimes build in. And at the moment during lockdown, one of my members of staff has got a motorcycle, and they've set up like a live workshop from their house, and he's doing demonstrations on his motorcycle. So at the moment they are involved with motorcycles, but like I say, it's not every year. We haven't actually got college motorcycles.
Brilliant, thank you, Leon. A quick question about how many days a week do I have to come into college? It's 3, albeit at the moment it's virtual, so we are 3 days a week, but virtual lessons. But normally it's 3 days a week. This helps you because it enables you to potentially get part-time work during the week, because obviously at the weekend everybody's trying to get a part-time job on Saturday and Sunday, but we compress all your lessons into 3 days. There's no free periods. You're in lessons for 3 days solid, and then those other 2 days you can get a job or do whatever you want to do.
Right. The other thing that's worth thinking about with the fact we only do 3 days is those that require work placements or work experience can actually get work placements during the working week, which obviously with an employer and T-levels is going to be really important. And we will of course help students locate those placements. We're not expecting you to find them out of thin air. All departments have a designated work placement officer to help you find those work placements, and obviously we do have a lot of industry links as well. So yeah, some of our students like to do work placement 1 day a week and work a part-time job the other, and then they get their weekends to go and do whatever they want to. Yeah,
exactly. So there is a question about industry placements, well done, and work experience. And yeah, we've got a whole team that's their job. That's all they do. There was the guys in engineering today had a talk from a company where the company come in virtually and spoke to the whole students, and it was organised by the work placement team. So I think that also answers the question, how do you find a work placement? You can, but you don't have to. We do it. We do it with you. We look at where you live. We look at the companies we know in that region, and we work with you and the companies we're already connected with to find you a placement. So hopefully that answers that.
I think, Mike, as well, it's good to say as well, with the college's character strengths, one of the things we're trying to promote is ownership. So when we ask about work placement, there's a particular one about hardware in there as well. So with computer hardware is covered in the T-level and with our computer course. But if that's the thing that you like to do, is to take ownership and find companies that do hardware, or if it's engineering or science or motor vehicle, is taking that ownership to the companies that are in your area. So that's that part of the adult learning where you're taking away the control in a school environment, then in the college you're taking your own ownership of your own progression from that. So
brilliant. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Exactly right. Claire, could you answer a question and let us know how you could get a career in being a pharmacist? I've got no idea.
They've mentioned which of these courses would help to get them there, and the one I would signpost them to is our Biomedical Science course. Pharmacists have to have quite a niche set of skills in that not only do they have to understand how the drugs work in terms of the chemistry behind them, but they also need to know how they work in the body. So they've got to have a fairly good working knowledge of physiology and biological sciences there. So our Biomedical Science course is very much geared up towards that. You'd learn all about the diagnosis techniques, you'd learn about physiology in the human body, you'd learn your chemistry, you learn how to make different types of pharmaceuticals. We actually make aspirin, which
wow.
Obviously most people know from being able to go and buy in the supermarkets. I will just add here, for any parents watching, we do not allow them to take said aspirin once they've made it.
Or sell it.
Or sell it, or anything like that. But we do actually make aspirin, so we can go through the pharmacological experience with them. And then obviously we talk about how chemically it's different to other chemicals and so on and so forth. We also make banana oil, which is like one of those essential oils that you can put in burners and things like that. Again, they're not allowed to take it home, have to remain in the laboratory.
Brilliant, thank you, Claire. We've got a question about esports. Is that you, Amy? What is the best course I can do before esports, as I have to pass my maths and English?
Yeah, I've seen that. That's so what we do is we would like you to have maths and English at a pass, which I believe is 5 now, is it? 4 or 5?
4.
And what, 4. And but we do look at everybody's individual circumstance, especially with what's been going on in the thing. So maybe you have some work experience, maybe you have other qualifications that would add up to, you know, making you more relevant and qualified for the course. So we do look at everybody, and there are, obviously we call you, so it's worth applying anyway, and we'll look at each individual circumstance. We take each learner as they come, but we do prefer you to have your English and maths at a 4.
And we'd support you on that as well. So if you didn't meet the grades and you were looking to do retake your English or maths, then you can continue with the college supporting you in your career journey. So whatever course you pick for your 1 year at level 2 whilst retaking your English and maths, then you can prepare yourself ready for the esports or any course you're looking to do at the college if it's level 3.
Yeah, I think the important thing is you open a dialogue with whatever course you want to do, and you get to know, you get to know the staff, and you talk with them, because maybe you get 3, but there's something we can do. We can always sort it out. So don't worry, we'll sort the right course for you. This is a good one for everyone. COVID dependent, do you offer any trips? I'll go first to get it out of the way. We try and work with the local employers. So weirdly, I think it was either tomorrow or last week. I think it might have been last week. We're supposed to have gone to RAF Mildenhall, because we work with them and we go to them, see them every year. Sorry. We've got lots of different people we work with. I mean, like Marshall's Aerospace, we work with them. The Port Felixstowe, UK Power Networks, EDF, we've been to Sizewell B. We work with Lotus, but we haven't managed to arrange a trip there yet. But yeah, we try and get as many trips in as possible. We've been to the NEC to see shows. So yeah, we obviously we keep it engineering based, but we do lots of trips in engineering. Go on, Leon, take the limelight. The best trips.
Well, yeah, we do have some rather amazing trips that we do get involved with. Like Mike just said, I mean, we've linked with the RAF base, which is Lakenheath, is where we've gone to look at the civilian side of mechanics, basically. So we go there and do that. Try to do that once a year. Obviously, COVID has stopped that last couple of years, but we go to Autosports show. We've been to Snetterton quite a number of times with the motorsport students. Silverstone, we took a large amount of students to Silverstone to be part of one of the exhibits where we took our kit car. And I'm trying to think all the other places we've been. Cosworth we've been to. We've spoken to Lotus recently. Obviously they can't do any trips at the moment, but I've asked if we can go and visit their heritage site again for the motorsport students. But we do try to get as many trips in as we can, to enrich our courses. But on top of that, I will just mention that we've got lots of fun projects that we're doing as well. So we've currently got a kit car that's being built by the students. We're now starting another project, which is a jet-powered hybrid vehicle, which is going to have an electric motor and a jet engine on the back, which is a single-seater. And our aim is to get that to Goodwood Festival of Speed next year, hopefully. And we're also looking at having our own race team. So there's things that we're constantly trying to push forward in what we do. So over to Claire.
That's a tough ask, isn't it, Leon, after all those amazing trips? We do offer enrichment courses. We regularly go to Sizewell Nuclear Power Station to go and see how all of theirs is running. Very much an overlap between our department and engineering, as well as computing, actually, because obviously there's a huge amount of computing power in making those things work. We often go to LGC, which is one of our local laboratories. We've had various trips in the past, and we're always looking for new things for the students to do, as well as inviting guest speakers into the college. Obviously, with COVID at the moment, it's proving a little bit problematic, but certainly we're always on the lookout for exciting enrichment, and if students have specific ideas, then we're always open to them. We were hoping to go to the Bodyworks exhibit in London, but obviously we've had to put pause on that for the moment. one of computing want to add in?
I can go if you like, Michael. So we've been to EGX for the which is one of the biggest gaming conventions in Europe. However, currently it's been used as a Nightingale hospital, so that's not happening this year. But normally we would. Bletchley Park is another one that we would go to. Sizewell as a collaboration we would usually go to. I know Logistics is now teamed up to go to Rotterdam. Obviously COVID permitting, but that sounds very exciting and I can't wait. Sometimes it depends what level course you are on in computing. We do NCS, which is where we take a group of you away for a weekend and we do some team bonding and some outdoor stuff and run riot in the countryside somewhere and do some camping. That's always been very popular and actually proved really enriching to students' lives as a whole, but actually brought the groups together as a team. So that's been really crucial, and it's been one of our great success stories in computing. But all courses, I believe, have the option of NCS because it's run throughout college. We also will take regular trips to Cambridge there's a museum of computing. We, like Claire said, we're open to taking new and different trips. So esports, there's lots of different trips virtually and actually in real life that we can take to different competitions. In the British Esports League, we are in the first division and doing really well for Rocket League and second division for Overwatch. So they, at some point when we get back to our new normal, we will be going out and competing at different schools and colleges for that. So there is quite a lot of opportunities for different trips, and they sort of naturally occur with what's happening around us. So we often go to Amazon to see Amazon. A lot of the staff work closely with Amazon. We've had Amazon come to do talks with us about the drone delivery systems. We've also had, Claire might know better than me, or Mike, the big bus that came. There was all the different things inside the big bus.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what that was. Sorry.
Are you referring?
Body stuff on it, wasn't it?
We've had a couple of those types of visits.
It's where a big bus comes with all crazy cool stuff inside it.
Yeah.
And you get to have a look in it and do all sorts. I wasn't part of that last year, but I know it had all sorts of really cool gadgets and gizmos inside. And I know at EGX, the same kind of buses that are full of tech come and appear. So there's just naturally occurring. We do try to enrich your learning experience at every opportunity and make connections where possible. And we have lots of connections with our local community and further afield. So yeah, once we get back to our new normal, it should be great.
I think it's important as well with the new T levels as well, in the employer engagement within the local community and sort of national, working with the government for the new qualifications. There's more and more companies that are taken on board and want to be part of the new qualifications coming through. So what we had already delivering is only going to grow in the years to come as well.
Brilliant, thanks, Mike. Cool. So a couple more questions. I've been offered a place on engineering level 3, exam dependent results. What happens next? Do you contact me or do I contact you? It's the same for everybody. You apply, we'll send you a letter offering you a place dependent on your exam results, and then we will have a telephone interview with you. So no matter what course it is, we will do that with you. Leon, there's quite a few here for you. Can you be an apprentice with level 2 motor vehicle, or do you have to be doing a level 3?
That's a good question. So our work-based learning programs, there is a level 2 apprenticeship scheme that they run, which is called Autocare, and that's a 2-year course. And then they also do a level 3 service technician course, which is again 2 years, and it's with our work-based learning team. With regards to if you're linking it to the level 2, so if you were to do the level 2, if it all depends how ready you are, you could go straight onto maybe an apprenticeship if you find one, and go on to the level 3 course. So there's you could always start with full-time education and then go on to an apprenticeship from our courses, or you could go straight to an apprenticeship if you found one. So yeah.
Brilliant. There's one other one here. So obviously we're living in this COVID world. What is practical work like for automotive, Liam? What does that look like pre-lockdown 4, 5, 6, whatever we're in now?
Okay, so yeah, currently our students are working a lot more on their theory side of things to obviously get that done, so that when we're ready to go back, we can get straight on with the practical. We're trying to get the lessons to be as enriched as possible. So, like I say, we're trying to build in an element of, I can't say practical because obviously you're not going to be doing practical. But live demonstrations, so like I mentioned earlier, one of our staff members is using his motorcycles to basically talk about, you know, different key components of that. But we also use a thing called Electude, which is an online resource, and that actually has, I'd call it a virtual practical. So you can actually connect multimeters up to test things. You can remove parts, but obviously it's all virtual. So even though it's not classed as practical because you're not getting your hands dirty, so to speak, you're still getting to see how things would be undone, and procedures that you would do, and you know, all helps. So that's where we're at the moment. But yeah, once we can go back, we can't wait to get back in those workshops.
I think the sorry, go on, Claire.
I was just going to say, with regards to the automotive, but also the other areas in college. And when we do go back, we'll obviously still be maintaining social distancing, and groups might be on a rotation to be able to do their practical work. But we do understand that practical work is really important in all of our areas. And we have to work within the rules we've got at the moment. But certainly social distancing is something that we do employ when we're doing practical work.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go on, Liam. Go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, that's something I should have mentioned. Yeah, our plan is that if and when we can go back, we'll follow the government guidelines, and there'll probably be like smaller groups, you know, full PPE used, and those kind of things, just to, you know, masks and things, just to make sure that everyone's safe and you know, can get on with those tasks, but in a safe, controlled environment.
Yeah, we have. Sorry, go on, Amy. Go on. Sorry.
There's a lot more simulation learning. So even the practical in computing, where every course is limited, simulation learning using VR and augmented reality and virtual reality, that is taking place across the college. It's just not limited to computing. It's happening in automotive, and where there are links, we all team up together to cross collaborate. And there are links between esports and automotive, and there are links between computing and engineering and computing and science. And we are using different types of learning, like simulation learning and virtual reality learning, throughout the college for different courses, so that we are still getting practical per se without getting too close to each other.
Yeah, I think that's true to say across the whole college, isn't it? We were running A groups and B groups, so we kept like the bubbles small enough so everyone can stay 2 meters apart, and every room you walk into, there's sanitizer, etc. And obviously windows open and following all the guidance from the government. I've got another question here about engineering. Could you do an A-level in maths while doing the engineering, as lots of universities require it? Yes, you can. We don't offer an A-level because we have, as part of the Suffolk Academy's trust, there's 2 parts of us. There's the A-level side, which is Abbeygate, and then there's the West Suffolk College. You could study an A-level. We have had students study it in the past, and we've supported them, but you do it like distance learning. Claire, I don't know if you want to jump in.
I was just going to add that whilst we don't offer A-level maths, we do offer core maths. So students who wish to study core maths do have the opportunity to do that at college. So it does depend on whether your university is specifying A-level maths or they're quite happy to take core maths. So what we'd recommend is that you have a look on the UCAS website and see whether they're specifically asking for A-level or if they're happy to accept core, because a lot of universities are quite happy with core maths, particularly as it's quite complementary to BTECs.
Yeah, we do the same. I was going to say the same thing. Computing offer the same core and further maths. to run alongside. So once you have your GCSE in maths, you can then move on to core and further maths in your second year, with a specialist tutor who's trained in that kind of higher level knowledge maths, who's actually really lovely. She's really good.
She's one of your friends.
No, she's not. It's just I know that she's a great maths teacher. She's got 100% turnaround, and that's
brilliant.
impressive in maths.
Yeah, no, exactly. Specifically in engineering, we have a module of further maths, which is normally what universities ask for. So we do teach you, A-level standard maths, albeit it's not as in depth as doing a complete A-level maths, but we do further maths. So normally the requirement is you get a distinction or a merit in that. Normally is what they say. Right, guys, I think we've got through most of the questions. No, we haven't. There's another one. There's a question, when does it start? I wonder what that means. When does what start? Do you reckon? What do we reckon?
I think that's the term. When does the term start? When do we usually start?
We're hopeful that we can go back at some point to work and not sit at home. But I think we're all confident.
Some of us are at work, Michael.
Yeah, I know. I see you when I'm there. I think we are hopeful for a September start. I mean, the government may change things. I don't know. I mean, it's watch the news.
It'll go as far as we're aware. We are expecting to return in the same kind of academic year calendar that we have always kept.
Yeah,
but this is always. Now we know to expect that this could be altered at any time by the government. However, what we are predicting is normality.
Well, yeah, we'd like to, wouldn't we? Yeah, it'd be good. Leon, he's the hot favourite tonight. Automotive and motor vehicle repair. Motor vehicle, sorry, question mark. Are these linked or completely different courses, and can you switch during the year?
Yeah, so the automotive, and sorry, my 4-year-old just trying to gate crash. Yeah, so automotive and motor vehicle are the same thing. It may be that there might be a part on the website where it's not been changed, so I will have a look at that. So apologies if it's confused anyone. But yeah, automotive and motor vehicle are the same course. We now call it automotive, so automotive engineering.
Brilliant, thank you, Leon. That's probably just a wording, like you say. It's a website, isn't it?
Can I just put out there as well, anyone who may have applied for a level 2 in computing, that course is no longer running anymore due to different circumstances. If anyone has applied, we have tried to contact you, but just to note that should be removed. Right,
that is subject. That may be or maybe not needed. That is something in discussion at the moment. Yeah. Just that I've heard that the other day.
Well, so people need to tell me maybe, but yeah. Well, so subject to sort of terms and conditions of West Suffolk College, yeah. But if you have applied, just hold your horses and wait.
Yeah. Just if anybody's still listening, I don't know if they are. If you've got something you want to do, apply. Once we can get you on a list, we can then sort it. But we need your application, so apply. That's my advice. You can,
if in doubt, apply.
Yeah, exactly. You can change your mind right up to the last minute. Michael, any last words?
No, I haven't. Just want to thank everyone really for listening, taking part. I hope we've answered all your questions. But just remember that we are all here to help. So if there's any questions that you think about afterwards, then please just make contact with the college. Look on our website, and there's lots of courses to have a look at there. All right, thanks.
Brilliant, thank you. As Michael said, all the information's on the web, and I think there's more getting added daily that we create in more videos, and the websites are amazing. It's got all the information. Does anybody want to put their hand up and say anything? Anybody? No. Right, so that's us done, I think. Thank you ever so much for your time and coming along and asking questions. I'd like to thank you at home, and I'd like to thank the guys here online that have given up a bit of their evening. They've missed, I don't know what would be on telly now, the news. I don't know. But anyway, thank you ever so much for everybody's time, and we're going to stop now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.